Well, that Myanmar growth surge, largely driven by the recent warming of relations with the US. And now the country's natural resources and strategic position mean that it's beginning to challenge neighbouring countries in the race to attract foreign investment. Now, one of its neighbours is, of course, Cambodia. And recently I caught up with Douglas Clayton, managing partner at Leopard Capital, who's a specialist in Cambodian investment. And he told me that that country is still a very attractive prospect.
I think it's the undiscovered country that most people have a perception of it the way it was 20 or 30 years ago and haven't paid too much attention to the changes that it's experienced. But it's the sort of country that almost everybody who comes says it's better than they expected, and they like it more and they want to come back. So there's something going on there that hasn't really been well reported.
But it's also surrounded by a lot of vibrancy. I mean, you had Vietnam, which attracted a lot of attention for a long time. Thailand's always been a big problem. And now Myanmar, which has come up, and everyone's saying, let's look at Myanmar. Who's left to look at Cambodia?
Well, Cambodia's 10 or 15 years ahead of Myanmar, and it's an easier place to do business. The laws are much better defined in Cambodia and tested by foreign investors. The banking system is working. It's easy to transfer money in and out and so on. Whereas Myanmar, everything is just changing and hasn't been fully implemented yet. So we don't really see waves of foreign investment coming into Myanmar. It's more people doing research visits rather than making investments yet.
Okay, you say it's changed, but we still have the same leadership at the helm, and it would appear not much move towards the possibility of a more democratic system.
I would say that the recent election result was a defining moment in Cambodian political history, because for the first time now we have a serious opposition party which will force the government to be more responsive to public will. I think the next election in 5 years could be a very close contest. So I think we'll see that the current government trying to re-engineer their processes to be more inclusive, to be consulting, following the people's will more.
So you're very excited about the lower Mekong area now. Tell me what's driving things there. What's exciting about that?
Well, I've been living in this area for a long time, and for the first time I'm seeing, say, Thai companies looking across the borders at how they can move their businesses into their neighbors. They can cut their labor costs, they can get cheaper land. This is being driven by two real drivers. One is the ASEAN Economic Community, which is reducing the tariffs and so on of trade between the Mekong countries. And secondly, the transportation is getting much more intertwined, so people can drive across the borders. There's more border checkpoints, bridges, highways, railroads are being upgraded. So I think we're seeing the integration of this region into more of one economic unit.
Is this a purely cost play, cheap labor, cheap land, or where exactly are the investments going?
Well, it's an arbitrage. It certainly is being driven by the cheaper land and labor. A second thing that's going on is that China is relocating a lot of its labor-intensive industries due to cost pressures, and some of that is coming to places like Cambodia, Vietnam, and soon Myanmar, because the cost differential is huge.
So it's a manufacturing focus?
That's part of it, yes.
What else?
Agriculture. The Mekong region is the last place you can get cheap, fertile farmland of large size, perfect for plantations. The consumer penetration of the Mekong region is still very low, whether we're looking at banking, electricity, cell phones. So these are still high-growth markets, and they're attracting large multinationals into the region. Any
big names in there that you think are worth noting?
We're seeing in Cambodia names like Hong Kong Land, Jardine Matheson, and Eon from Japan. Many Japanese manufacturers are moving into Cambodia. This is all very new, very healthy. These are long-term investors with very good governance. They will probably draw other investors behind them.